Yo, check it out. This is DJL7, aka Ed Lee, and I'm going to tell you today why Thomas Massie loses. So, the thing is that been an activist for like 25, 30 years now, and I could tell you that I'm actually running for state assembly for the seat that Mamdani held before he became mayor, and so like I know the game from like as a politician, I guess you could say, as an activist, right? As a longtime activist and this kind of thing. So the thing is that when you take a look at what's going on in the news reporting, right? The thing is that I'm actually hosting, I am actually the New York City's version of the America First movement. It's true, yeah? And I've been actually putting up, signs to phone bank for Massie, stuff like that, try to help him out. And to tell you the truth, in this case, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not special. Massie's not special. Okay? All the campaigns, whether it's from Yang, right, America Forward, whatever, right, these things, right, MAGA, all this, right, yeah, Democrats, DSA, all of this, all the same in this. They do not want the local leadership, right, yeah, getting involved or saying stuff. The national dictates what you're supposed to do, and they're supposed to shut up and fall in line. And the thing is that you could see that the press that they erect, right, like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, they can't talk about, right, someone in your locale. So instead of actually touching the system, right, yeah, like getting to know the voters and stuff like that, and being able to, like, oversee the system of how the election process goes, and really watching that closely. Instead, you're fed this circus, really it's like wrestling, like professional wrestling, right? It's like it's a show where both sides are just actors, and a lot of the conflicts are pre-scripted. So people like to say they're with the good guy, the Democrats. So to say, folks, at the top, they're conspiring together to play the game the same way. That's why I know a lot of y'all might be watching these shows out here, like, just start naming them, okay? Let's start with the Jimmy Dore clique first, right? Yeah, because that's a whole diseased infrastructure right there. So Jimmy Dore, Savvy Sabs, right? What's the other one? Do Dissidents. Let's also touch on Brianna Joy Gray. Let's touch on what else? Breaking Points. That's another big one right there. Okay. So-called independent media. All right. Notice that they don't really report on ground organizers that are doing this, and I'm not the only one. It's actually, you could look up Danny Mayo, Maio. He actually, in the Wikipedia for Queens GOP or Queens Republican Party, you'll see that he fought for transparency in what's going on with the party leadership, and his actually club has now been derecognized. But stories like this do not get covered. Theo Chin was actually facing eviction right now, and he's been running for office and helped many other candidates run for office. He has the documentary on PBS, somehow he got it on there, yeah? But as in terms of right now, a lot of real legitimate causes and peoples are suppressed to manufacture a fake narrative. Unfortunately, Massie may be part of this narrative. However, okay, I think that him winning would be a strong sign. Already behind the veil, the people in charge are preparing already for both eventualities. They have both possibilities mapped out, and they're still moving forward, right? But sure would be nice to throw a little egg in the face of the game. So just to cut down to the real chase of this, why is Massie losing, right? It's because the people that know can see that they've been successful in this cycle at preventing any real the grassroots movement is there for Massie. Yeah? The thing is that there's a lot of money coming in from out of state, right, to support because people are recognizing what this means right here. But you could, once again, I said, right, like, New York City is the largest city in the nation. There's nobody really There's no movement out here really supporting this, or no way to really organize. Instead, we are fed, right, this narrative about Erica Kirk. She's no good, I'm telling you right now. Right? Like, even if she was good, her brand is so compromised, they can't just find someone else just to, like, get that whole discussion over with, and we could just start helping people or start addressing these issues. It's all garbage. There's, once again, there's a small, just like wrestling, there's a small cast of characters that they recycle over and over again. They don't have the, actually they have the resources, but they do not want to have local people talking about local issues. So I actually have a video coming out about, like, the controversy regarding the 31st Street proposed bike lanes over there. And but really more importantly, which I'm not really allowed to talk on, is the corruption of third-party space in the anti-war movement, where actually literal convicted pedophiles, Scott Ritter is the name, look him up, convicted twice, whereas Jeff Epstein was only convicted once, right? Yeah, are being pushed by the higher-ups, like Jill Stein, like Nick Brana, of course, right? Yeah, and Jimmy Dore and Jose Vega, right? Yeah, to specifically normalize the sexual abuse and theft that's going on in the movement. People wonder why we're in forever wars, because the people that you're feeding to take care of this problem, they are the ones who are making sure that nothing really moves forward on actual activism in this arena. And another thing you could tell how this is fake is because if you looked at civil rights movement, there was no black people involved. No Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, more in positions of, like, substantial leadership. You say, you know what, this is fake and wrong. But right now, the anti-war movement, right? Most Americans cannot name a war victim, and instead we have these political leaders or these celebrities out here speaking for us. It's completely rigged, and there's a lot of money going on, which is why, even though I have endorsements from the longest wrongfully incarcerated man in New York State history, and several from some of the longest wrongfully incarcerated men in U.S. history, I have endorsements from the former co-chair of Memphis DSA. You will see, right? I appeal to Democrats and Republicans, the grassroots, but the ones that are going to get access to the money and the celebrities and the, frankly, the Jeff Epstein BS. Hey, you know, I don't need to move up in this game. I've been. Here's a trick for y'all, okay? I've been elected before. So the thing is that all the things that I accomplished, a lot of those things became under attack, and they could be undone as well too. Anything you do can be undone. So what's the use? I'll tell you what, the real power is not actually in the title itself, but in the ability to control the elections. And the results and the outcomes of those elections, which there's also tampering going on there too, by the way. But this is actually the key. Okay, or at least it is on the paper. And this can be enforced by the laws of this land, which include citizens have significant rights to make things happen out here. Anyways, I know it sounds wild, right? But our system and our activists are being really under attack, and we get the government we deserve. So I know there's people from, Mossad and also Israel watching this particular thing. I'm gonna put it out right here, right? Y'all getting billions of dollars, the largest military aid packages in United States history. What do you need all that money for? To influence our elections? To assure that your engine of death gets to keep rolling? I'm not saying everything y'all do is bad, right? Okay, I know there's actually a lot of people being victimized from being, unfairly, pushed out of Arabic land because of negative feelings about Jewish people. I'm sorry that you went through that. Right? I'm not saying that y'all don't have anything on your side either, but if y'all were working in partnership with people like in Korea, who are actually, right, sitting on the front of our own nuclear war front, And if you were like helping us and saying like, you know what, we're for just aid for countries that have been impacted by genocide and violence, right, post World War II, whatever, honestly, you have an ally, but you don't, right? Because your issues were always pushed, but ours were left in the garbage despite being very, very similar. So imagine it was reversed, right? Imagine we was getting all the support and y'all wasn't getting really, like nothing really. You know what I mean? Actually, we have to pay, right? Not Korean Americans, but Koreans, right? Well, I might people from the diaspora. They have to pay the U.S. to have the military bases on their lands. That's kind of extreme. I mean, you're gonna help us out with that or what? If you're not, then you should be paying to have U.S. military bases on your land. That's what I'm saying. What? Am I missing something? And look, just as an American, I just have to support the American first. Yeah. Okay. If American citizens are going to die, will it be for some other country? And I say that being Korean American. That's wild, right? But notice that actual war victims, including even white war victims from Russia and Ukraine, have no voice in the anti-war movement. That's how you know it's fake. They're going to bring them up soon. They're going to insert them. I've been dealing with these astroturfers for a long time. Anyways, that's why Massie loses, folks. You need to really start organizing and get it going here. Yeah? You need to really... Can't count on the... If you're watching these shows with these celebrities and these, political pundits and stuff, you're in the trap. And you could blame these politicians, but they can't make it happen by themselves. It's really your actions, and inaction is really a huge part of this. In fact, really the true reason for this, which America loves a scapegoat. So we'll see how it works out. I'm hustling. All right. So once again, some people don't believe that change can happen, overnight. I think it can, right? But that night is preceded by some other stuff sometimes. A little preparation. So just putting that in place. Thanks for checking this out. And we're going to find out what happens tonight for once.